Oki, Tanishi, Tansi, Abawastich, Danatara. My name is Samaria Nancy Cardinal, and we're going to be looking at my personal practice identity. I come from mixed ancestry. My mother is Norwegian and German Jew. My father is Blackfoot in Métis. People come from Ganawa, and he's also from the Cardinal Morin Métis clan. He spent 7 years in residential school. And his first marriage, he was charged with interracial marriage. The charges were eventually dropped, but the child that was born was put up for adoption, and I've never got to meet my older sister. He married my mother, and he got admitted into the University of Texas, which is very sad to say that he had to leave the country to get a degree because he had went to University of British Columbia but was asked to leave because he wasn't from the right family background. I was born in Texas, and we came back up when I was quite young. The first time I experienced discrimination was in Edmonton, Alberta. I was going to Oliver School, and one morning the teacher pulled me up in front of the class, grabbed my arm really strong, and started rubbing it really hard. And she practically screamed to me and the whole class, I am going to rub that dirty, disgusting Indian right out of you. It took me years to get over that. My father is an elder and a lodge keeper and really fell to his culture to receive healing. However, when I was young, I ran away from my culture because I became ashamed of who I was. I tried to be anything and everything but Indigenous. That caused years of trauma where I was lost. Eventually, I came back to my culture and found my pride and started healing myself. It has taken a long time, but I now know who I am, and I'll be healing until I take my last breath. I am a cisgender, heterosexual woman who is a mother and a grandmother. As an Indigenous person, just being alive is a political statement. I come from a family of activists. My father and my aunt are well known for fighting their whole lives to create better lives for Indigenous people in Canada. They have passed that wand onto me, and it is now me and my generation that are continuing the fight. My work is grounded in anti oppressive theory. I strive to be an Indigenous social worker who is decolonizing and also learning Western ways so that I can walk this world with two eyed seeing. I draw upon the work of Linda Tuwai Smith, who uses decolonizing methodologies. Case Critical, where Raven Sinclair is one of the authors, and also the book by Donna Baines, Doing Anti Oppressive Practice. Due to horrific circumstances in my life, I became an Indigenous healthcare advocate in 2018. And I have worked very, very hard to advocate for better healthcare for my people that is free of discrimination. Everyone in Canada deserves acceptable healthcare without being discriminated against. At the current time, Indigenous people are dying in care and in hospitals because of discrimination. Indigenous social work is different than Western social work. We value reciprocity, we value relationships. It has a different tone, it is more personal, and it is the way that I wish to follow. It is very, very important for me to practice this way. And I have been very lucky because during my final practicum, I have been exposed to two incredible Indigenous social workers who have taught me the ways in which I want to practice. Sadly, in my post-secondary education, I have not had that given to me. So thank goodness for the beautiful Indigenous social workers I was exposed to in my practicum. 2018, I became.
I have changed since I came into the BSW program.
Organizations across Canada.
I have certain ways that I've practiced, but now I have names to it. The theories involved. I can actually say where that information comes from. I also have ethics to follow.
I am able to say
there's
something
going to guide my behavior and how I walk through the world.
And so I find that I've become a very, very strong in 2018
that occurred
I became
during my BSW
what I believe advocate and work with numerous organizations.
Along with that,
I do have a fair amount of cultural knowledge. I wouldn't consider myself a knowledge keeper. I'm far from that. But I'm also
very
not
negative
afraid
biases
to go during this
time.
I developed some very good
and through interaction
I'm able
with
to
some
say
very
the
kind
and not
professors
be intimidated
to know and some very beautiful fellow students.
I find that I've
those
become a very
biases
very
have decreased
in who I am,
and my eyes have opened.
I come with many years of experience in the field.
I believe.
Along with that, I do have a fair amount of cultural knowledge.
As a result,
I wouldn't consider myself a knowledge keeper. I'm
still
far
say
from
that
that.
I do carry
But I'm
anger.
also not afraid
I've
to
been
go
told
ask
it is from trauma, but I am working on it. And I do
one thing I need to work on is when I get excited,
I can self-reflect
get a little hyper
and not become angry at myself for the person that I am.
So
I am just a human being,
down a little bit,
and I am growing.
I come with many years of experience in the field,
and now through this process as becoming a social worker,
I have been complex.
I have learned to be kinder to myself,
in addiction,
and thus I can be kinder to other human beings
I've done a little bit
around
of
me.
supportive counseling.
I am also walking into my role as
one thing I need to work on is when I get excited,
and
I can get a little hyper. Sometimes it's a little.
I can now walk with my head held high, knowing that I have a goal to help others and feel that strength within me. I have gained confidence, and I have gained knowledge, and I will walk into the world and help Indigenous people to become better human beings side by side, hand in hand. I will not walk in front. I will walk beside. And at times, I may even walk behind, because it is our role as a social worker
with numerous organizations
to guide the client and to have them make the decisions in their life. We are just but a tool for their healing.
In the system. So I am during this time, I
have changed
some very good
since I came into the BSW program.
I'm able to say the truth and not having.
I have certain ways that I practice, but now I have names to it. The theories involved. Besides taking my coursework at the U of C, in the past 2 years, I have also taken the dialectical behavior therapy skills training from DBT House. And I have also taken through professional education at the U of C a course on the DSM-5 that taught how to use the DSM and gave us assessment and diagnostic tools. As well as that, I have applied to my Master's of Social Work, clinical route. I would like to take the stream that deals with counseling. Once I am in the master's program, I keep my fingers crossed. I also would like to learn EMDR therapy. I am very interested in trauma and how it affects individuals. Dr. Gabor Mate's work on trauma is very fascinating to me, and I think he puts the nail on the head. And there's a quote that I love that he has, and it's, trauma is not what happens to you. Trauma is what happens inside you as a result of what happens to you. I have changed since I came into the BSW program. I have certain ways that I've practiced, but now I have names to it, the theories involved. I can actually say where that information comes from. I also have ethics to follow and practice that is going to guide my behavior and how I walk through the world as a social worker. One huge thing that occurred during my BSW is my bias and my discrimination has decreased. And I used to hold some very negative biases towards certain groups of people. And through interactions with some very kind professors and some very beautiful fellow students, those biases have decreased and my eyes have opened, and I become, I believe, a kinder, more open-minded person as a result. I still say that I do carry anger. I've been told it is from trauma, but I am working on it. And I do realize now that at the end of each day, I can self-reflect and not become angry at myself for the person that I am. I am just a human being, and I am growing and changing every day. And now through this process as becoming a social worker, I have learned to be kinder to myself, and thus I can be kinder to other human beings around me. I am also walking into my role as an Indigenous person and an Indigenous social worker. I can now walk with my head held high, knowing that I have a goal to help others and feel that strength within me. I have gained confidence and I have gained knowledge. And I will walk into the world and help Indigenous people to become better human beings side by side, hand in hand. I will not walk in front. I will walk beside. And at times, I may even walk behind, because it is our role as a social worker to guide the client and to have them make the decisions in their life. We are just but a tool for their healing. For myself, self-care is something that I've learned that I have to do to survive. Over the years, I've gotten certifications in energy healing practices, in meditation, in spiritual dance, in Zumba. Um, I've got tons of them. They were all to help myself and to practice the self-care that I needed. I am not able to dance that much anymore due to an illness that I have. So I do a lot of meditation and take time to read and relax. I think a very important self-care that people don't think of is eating properly. I know myself, when I haven't eaten, I develop a state called hangry, which is really not nice to be around. So self-care for me is also eating when I'm supposed to and eating the foods that nurture my body. Another important part of self-care is taking time to do something fun and just let it all out, whatever it is. If, going to a concert, just listening to the music and singing as loud as you can, talking to a friend and allowing yourself to cry and get it all out. Those things are really, really important. We're not robots, and we can't go 100 miles a day every day and expect us to be empathetic, caring individuals. So get up in the morning, meditate. Get up in the morning and put on some gorgeous music and just sing your heart out. I do things that touch my heart and that make me come back to who I really am, so I don't forget who this person, Samaria Nancy Cardinal, is. I am having a hard time taking all this in right now. I've tried to do this last final reflection video about 5 times. Each time I start crying. I have tried my whole life to get a degree. The last time in my last semester, I got ill and wasn't able to finish. And so I finally get to do it this time. This is a really emotional time for me. It is really sad to say, but without a degree, people do not listen to you. They do not respect you, what you have to say. So now that I have the power of the paper, I hope that I will be able to go out into the world and do the work that I need to do, where my word will be honored and respected instead of dismissed. I hope that I get into the Masters of Social Work to continue my work. It will all be like it's supposed to be. I will miss my time here, and I will miss all the incredible people that I have made connections with. It has been a journey, a beautiful journey, but it's not over yet.